Hi guys, I hope you're well. I hope you are doing okay. Just get organised. It's a bit wobbly. There we go. There we go. It's all a bit wobbly as I get organised this morning. How are you? I hope you are well at whatever point you come in and join me this morning. I was trying to get the video horizontal and it didn't work for some reason. So it's vertical this morning. So I can see I've got somebody with me already. So hello, great to have you here with me this morning. I hope you're well. So it is Sunday. Let's get this a bit closer. There we go. I will edit all of this out. So if you're watching it back, it won't feel like you're rocking all over the place. Good morning, Tony. Hello, my lovely. Thank you so much for being here with me this morning. You're the first one in this morning, so give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, and that would be really helpful. So I hope you're doing all right, Tony. Yeah, hope you're well. Hope you're good. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me. It is Sunday. I think it's the 28th of July, and it's whizzing by, isn't it? The month is whizzing by already. And last night went out in the evening. Well, I say I went out. I only went into the garden. I'd gone to put the rubbish out, and I could feel already the air had changed. There's a change in the air. It just feels cooler. And I love the sun. Honestly, I can live in a hot country. I really do. And usually around August, I start to notice that coolness in the air in the evening, and it makes me a little bit sad because I'm like, oh my goodness, the summer's going to be over soon. But I never complain about the sun and the heat. I absolutely love the heat and the hot weather, because I'm like, I pay a lot of money every year to go away to a hot country for a week of sunshine, and we've got it, so I'm not complaining. And I can see I've got a couple of people with me today. Good morning, great to have you all here with me today. It's lovely to have you. Tony, you're good. You've not lost nearly a stone. Wow, just by reducing your portion sizes. You're £3 off your first. Wow, Tony, that is fantastic. Well done, my darling. I'm so pleased to hear that. Hi, Claire. Great to have you here with me this morning. It is lovely to have you all here. So, guys, I've got my little notebook, and there's quite a few things I want to share with you today. A few things we're going to talk about, and I've got the main topic which I'm going to talk about. Again, this was a question from one of you lovely viewers. And the question was, if I was starting my weight loss journey from knowing what I know now about weight loss, having lost 173 pounds, what would I do? I've lost 173 pounds. If I was going to start my journey again with that knowledge, what would I do? Would I do anything different? What would I do? So I'm going to be talking about that today. So I'm going to talk about that maybe in about maybe about 20 minutes or so, when people have had a chance to come in and join the live stream. But before that, we're going to have a bit of Sunday chit chat. So a few things, I've written it all down in my book, what I want to share with you. I've also going to answer some questions that I've been asked. A few people have asked me some questions about the weight loss journey, being a weight loss coach, being a weight loss member, and I'm going to answer those. And I'm also going to give you an update on my weight loss progress to date as well. So, a few things I want to share with you. So, first of all, so here's a question for you guys. On your weight, I've got my coffee here as well. On your weight loss journey, how do you deal with negative comments? Well, not even necessarily negative, but when people are having a bit of a dig at you, how do you deal with that? I'd love to know. Hi, John. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, let me know, how do you deal with those comments from people? So how, does it affect you? Are you able just to dust it off? How do you deal with that? So the past 2 weeks, there's one particular person, and she's been making little digs at me, just little digs. And in itself, the comments are not necessarily, in itself, the comments are kind of very petty. Yeah, they're petty. But when you put them all together, they start to form a bit of a picture. So, yeah, and I can't, and yeah, and I was excluded from something this week, and it kind of just felt like this person was a little bit jealous and was making it known how they felt about me. So it kind of bothered me a little bit, but I'm trying not to let it sort of knock me off my journey. So I'd love to know, guys, if you get negative comments and it's around your success and your progress on your weight loss journey, how do you deal with that? Drop it in the comments and let us know. Let me know how you deal with it. Hi, John. Great to have you here with me today. You won a football tournament. Well done. Well done. And I'm so sorry to hear about your dog. So sorry. So sorry. Do you know what? I've got a cat. Well, I've got 5 cats. And my one cat, Bobby, I've had her 19 years. This October, she'll be 20 human years old, which is 94 cat years. And she very much acts like an old lady. I say that I'm being judgmental, because not all old people just eat and sleep. So I take that back. Some older people are very active, but my Bobby is she's 94 and she just eats, goes and has a sip of water, and then go back and sleeps. And I was thinking about her the other day, and everybody that comes to the house are really surprised that she's still going. And yeah, it's made us all think, everybody who loves her is starting to think she's going to be crossing that bridge, the kitty cat bridge to heaven. And it just makes me really sad. So yeah, it is sad when we lose our pets, because they're part of us. We grow them, we rear them, we love them, we feed them, we care for them. So it is hard. So I'm really sorry that your dog has died. Yeah, really sorry to hear that. Hi, Remy. Great to have you with us today. Thank you so much. So guys, my question was, how do you deal with like those digs and those comments from people that a little bit unexpected? Does it sort of affect your mindset? Does it knock you off course? Are you able to dust it off and rise above it? Yeah, I'd love to know. Drop it in the comments, guys. So last week I was sent a letter. I was sent a letter from a research company, and they have invited me to be part of a medical trial. And it's a medical trial for new drugs for type 2 diabetes. And I'm kind of like, I need to think about this a little bit. But I'd love to know, guys, if you was invited to be part of a medical trial, what would you do? Would you do it? Now, there is no payments involved. You're doing it for the love of mankind. But would you do it? Would you get involved? Would you agree to be a part of a medical trial? So I've been part of medical research. So yeah, I've been part of medical research. I suffer with a number of health conditions, and as part of research for rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis and lupus, I've been part of blood trials, and I've had I think at one point in one go I had something like 30 vials of blood taken from me, and they used that for research. Never heard anything back from that, but I thought, well, if it's going to go and help other people, so be it. And then I've been invited in the past to be, because I'm type 2 diabetic, and I've been invited to get involved in medical trials. And a few years ago I was invited to be involved in a trial. This is before the weight loss injections, Mounjaro to and Ozempic. It was a trial whereby, under general anaesthetic, they inserted like a long tube like that into your stomach, and so you didn't need gastric surgery, you didn't need surgery, but this tube would almost be an alternative to surgery. So it would be inserted in your stomach, and then what would happen is the food that you ate would go into like this little bag inserted in your stomach. And so there's your stomach, if you can imagine, there's your stomach, and this bag would be inserted inside your stomach. So that would be the bag, and that would be your stomach. So any food that you ate would just go into this little bag, and then there was like this process of osmosis, and this bag would filter out all the nutrition that your body needed, all the vitamins, minerals, etc., and everything else would be, would come out the natural way. And I was invited to be part of that trial with the view of controlling type 2 diabetes, but also weight loss. This is before I started my weight loss journey. And my partner at the time was like, no, Angela, don't do it. And when I'd gone to see my diabetic consultant, he did this whole program, did consultations. He invited everybody he wanted to be part of this trial to this information session, and he would do all of this. And people who had already started on the trial had lost huge amounts of weight, and they got lots of media coverage and everything, and it was really pioneering. So I was convinced. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I was like, my partner was like, do not be a guinea pig. And I was like, So anyway, I agreed to be on the trial. Anyway, about 2 weeks before I was going to have my operation to have this tube inserted, I had a phone call to say that it was on hold, and then I got a letter from the consultant to say that it had been suspended because whilst the tube was fine. It was there was like surgical metal that would hold this tube in place in your stomach, and there was problems with it. And in trials in Europe, the metal had started to corrode and had caused some serious ulceration in people, and these individuals needed emergency surgery to get it out. So I was thinking, yeah, my partner was right. He was right in the end. So didn't have it in the end. And then I was invited to be, I think at some point I must have signed up to be part of trials, because I keep getting all these invitations to be part of a trial. And then back in the day, I got an invite to be on a trial for, at the time, I didn't know what it was, but now I realise it was to be part of the Mounjaro tirepazide trial. I didn't know that. If I'd have read the letter properly, I probably would have done it. I might have lost my weight a lot sooner and a lot quicker. But yeah, so I got invited to a trial for that. But I obviously didn't do that. And now I've been invited for I've also been invited for another trial for other drugs, but now I've got a letter inviting me for a trial for another drug, diabetes, but also weight loss as well. And all of these trials are because when you're type 2 diabetic, the key to controlling the diabetes is what you eat, how much you eat, and how much you move. And I'm not saying, because I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm not saying it's as simple as that, but those three things can really help you to control that hormone, insulin. And, you know, I've said we don't talk about hormones a lot when it comes to weight loss. And insulin is a really, really, really important hormone when it comes to weight loss. And it's controlling that insulin, really important. So hi guys, thank you so much for being here. So yeah, the question I asked earlier was, what do you do when you get negative comments? And Remy Roo say, yeah, those things can distract us, but we've just got to keep that clear mind and keep focused. And I totally agree with you on that. No, I'm not using a card reader at all. It is just me in my room with my camera. No card readers at all. So guys, thank you so much for being here. I know a lot of you are popping in and out. It is great to have you with me today. At whatever point you come in, then feel free to go, when the live is finished, feel free to go back and watch the entire session. Today I am going to be talking about a really important question that I was asked. I've got my notebook here if you see me looking down. I was asked a question, and I was asked if I was, knowing what I know now about weight loss and my weight loss journey, having lost 173 pounds, 12 stone 3 pounds, right, knowing that information and that knowledge, if I was starting my journey all over again, what would I do? Would I do anything different? So I'm going to be talking about that today. Good morning, Jeffrey. Great to have you with me today, my lovely. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to start in a couple of minutes talking about that topic. But in my notebook, I've made some points of things I wanted to talk about before I get into that. So give you a weight loss update. So as I just mentioned, to date, I've lost 173 pounds in weight, 12 stone 3 pounds. But the last 3 weeks, I've not lost anything. Not lost anything. And I'm on Mounjaro, and full disclaimer, I lost 9 stone. Intermittent fasting, mindful eating, and just making good healthy choices. And then the last 3 stones I've lost using Mounjaro because I'm type 2 diabetic. And you know, sometimes it's easy to jump and blame the program, blame the system, blame the medication, blame, you know, find places to lay the blame. But I've reflected and I know exactly why I haven't lost weight. I know exactly why. And, you know, as Manjaro becomes more popular, we're learning more about um, the medication and how it affects people. And one of the things that I've discovered is whilst on Manjaro, it reduces that food noise and it severely reduces my appetite for good quality food. And if I had you know, a chicken dinner in front of me, I could probably only eat a few mouthfuls of the chicken and maybe just a tiny bit of everything else. So that good quality food, I'm limited, I'm restricted on that. And therefore, I will lose weight because I'm eating less. However, what I've discovered is that whilst I can eat less quality food, I can certainly chow down a lot of what I call slider foods. So foods that pass through the stomach really easily, doesn't need take a lot to digest. Those foods go down really, really easily. And those are things like biscuits, crisps, sweets, chocolates, all the like the junk food, all of that goes down really, really, really easily and quickly. And that's why I haven't lost any weight in 3 weeks, even on Manjaro. So it's definitely not Manjaro because I still have the restriction and I still eat less of that quality food. But the weather's been hot. I've been hanging out with my grandkids. The ice cream's going in. I'm hanging out with my friends. The alcohol is going in. I had like 2 rum and cokes last night. You know, I'm back at work in the office. I've always been at work, but I'm back in the office now more. I should say in the office more. All of those office related habits are coming back because yeah, people are bringing in the biscuits and the sweets, and those are going round. So again, all of those little habits are creeping in. I'm finding that, you know, I'm having a biscuit at, like with my tea at like, you know, 10, 11 o'clock. Never used to have that before. And it's not even like, you know, your rich tea, it's kind of like your chocolate biscuits and the shortbread, the all butter shortbread biscuits, all of those are going in. I'm having a packet of crisps every day with my lunch. And then, although even though I'm not hungry, my mindset is still saying, because I'm going home, I need to have my meal in the evening. So just being back in the office has really just disrupted my routine a little bit. And I'm eating more, not more quality food, but more of the junk food, of those high calorie foods. And that's why I've not lost the weight, even on Manjaro. So, guys, if you're on Manjaro, it's not like you've had the injection and the weight's going to fall off. You still have to work with it and you still have to make good choices. So that's what I've discovered and that's what I've learned about myself. And I've had to be really, really honest with myself and recognize that actually the reason I've lost the weight is because of my habits. My habits in the summer, this summer, has slipped that little bit. So this week I got on the scales this morning because I knew I was doing this and I wanted to give you an update, and no loss. And I'm happy with no loss. I'm happy with no loss as long as I'm not putting on. But I need to get going again. And I've got some new goals because we've had a holiday in June and we're looking to have another holiday in September. And this, I'm not focused on wanting to lose pounds or a number on the scale, but I want to tone up my body because I've lost a lot of weight and I don't feel as toned as I would like. So I need to start getting not the scales, my weights out and my resistant bands, and I need to just start moving my body and building that routine. So I'm going to be doing that. So yeah, those are the things, even on Mounjaro, where I've not lost any weight, but I need to just turn the body. And also, guys, remember that as you get closer to your goal weight, your ideal weight for your body may be like, hang on a minute. I like being at this weight. I want to keep this, remaining fat and all of this, so you just have to be mindful. So as I'm getting smaller and I'm getting closer to my goal weight, and don't get me wrong, I still have weight to lose, I still have weight, but I've lost a lot, and sometimes my body just needs time to adjust as well. So there's that going on, as well as all the extras that have crept in. So guys, I'm just gonna very quickly, I was asked two really, really important questions. So as many of you know, I used to be a coach for Weight Watchers, as a coach and a member, and I was asked a really, really important and pertinent question. And guys, I always say, feel free to send me any questions that you may have. You can post it on the chat on YouTube. I'll pick it up. You can direct message me via Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, or you can email me too. And I do get quite a few messages, which is so lovely. It is lovely to hear from you, and I do respond. Yeah, we do have correspondence, so it is lovely to have that. So I was asked two really important questions, and one of the questions was, why did I leave Weight Watchers as a coach, and have I left as a member? Really interesting question. So I was a coach for Weight Watchers, one of the largest weight loss companies in the world. Been going for over 60 years. And I think everybody and their mother has been in and out of Weight Watchers or connected to Weight Watchers in some way. Either they've done the program or they know somebody who's done the program. And I had been in and out of Weight Watchers about 6 or 7 times since I was 18, done different things as well, but been in and out of Weight Watchers. And then in 2019, I rejoined Weight Watchers because I was at my absolute heaviest, and then in the March I became a coach. So I left after 5 years. There was a number of reasons I stopped being a coach. I stopped being a member first, or stopped following the program in its truest format first. Because let me just say, Weight Watchers has worked for millions of people over the years. There's a lot of people there who is having great success with it. It is a good program. It is based in nutrition, good nutrition. And I think it has great intentions about helping people build healthy habits. So there is a lot of good to be said. It must be good for it to be still around after 60 years, So that being said, it wasn't right. It's not right for everybody. Yeah, it's not right for everybody. Just like Mounjaro isn't right for everybody. Just like intermittent fasting isn't right for everybody. Weight Watchers isn't right for everybody. And I started off seeing success, but it wasn't right for me because some of the habits that is being promoted just wasn't working for me, such as the habit around tracking your food, tracking your drink on your app. I am not a tracker, and I've always said that from day one. I'm not one to track, and I really, really, really struggled with tracking, and it was really it was hindering me. So that didn't sit well with me, and I carried on the best I could without tracking. And but the point system, I think, is a good system, but it has its flaws. It has its flaws. And I couldn't believe in it 100%, because when I joined and I was none the wiser, I thought this is great. But when I started, and for some of you know that I went and did a course in nutrition, and when I started looking at that, I could see great big gaps in the nutrition system, in the point system. And then when I started networking with other nutritionists and dietitians, they were pointing out lots of flaws and gaps in the point system. And I thought, that's why it wasn't 100% working for me. Wasn't working completely. So, and then I saw the other side that nobody ever talks about. I was seeing thousands and thousands of people each week, each month, and I was seeing how Weight Watchers, and this isn't just limited to Weight Watchers though, this is slimming clubs, how it was having a negative impact on people. And nobody ever talks about those things, guys. Nobody ever talks about that. And I would see people becoming obsessed with the scales, obsessed about their weight, being disappointed if they stayed the same or gained half a pound, or even lost a pound when they wanted more. I was seeing the impact on people's mental health, which in my opinion was not healthy. I'd see grown men and women breaking down in tears because they'd gained half a pound or lost half a pound. You know, people being obsessive and not making healthy choices because they had to stay within their points. And then when they stayed in their points, disappointed that they hadn't lost as much weight. I also saw that programs were not educating people. What they were teaching people was how to use the point system, or how to use the SIN system, or how to use Jenny Craig, or how to use, Weight Watchers or Slim, how to use those systems to lose weight. What they were not teaching people was how weight loss works and how to get weight loss just generally. So that was why I left. It was because my values were no longer aligned with Weight Watchers. But as I said, guys, it works for millions of people. If it works for you, go for it. Just go for it. The next question I had, really, really great question, was there's lots of programs, lots of systems, lots of methods out there on the market at the moment. There's just so many: paleo, carnivore, Dukan, intermittent fasting, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, counting calories, dealing with your macro. There's so many. The question was, which is the best lifestyle program out there? Interesting, very interesting. And my response to this is, there isn't. There is no weight loss program that with a lifestyle out there. Nobody can sell you a lifestyle. Absolutely nobody. And they all say, this isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle. Load of bull crap, right? Nobody can sell you a lifestyle. Only you can create your lifestyle. You decide on a lifestyle that's going to work for you. So You know, be careful, be careful. So if you're looking for a program, a system, a method to follow, I would say go for one that is grounded in good nutrition. And again, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, they are based in good nutrition. If you're going to just use an app like MyFitnessPal or NutriCheck, they're more about tracking your calories, or they're about tracking your calories. They're not teaching you about good nutrition. Weight Watchers and Slimming World give you more of a steer towards those. There's still flaws in there, but it gives you a steer towards those good nutrition. But what I'd say is use those as a guide and take what you need from them. But only you can create your lifestyle. Only you can do that. So Weight Watchers was selling tracking as a lifestyle. That didn't work for me. It didn't work for a lot of people. For me, it didn't. The lifestyle was about tracking your points and eating and living within your points. That was a lifestyle that wasn't working for me. Yeah. So you decide what lifestyle you want. Go out, do some research, and decide on the lifestyle that's going to work for you, and then go and put that in place. But nobody can sell you a lifestyle, guys. Okay, that being said, let's get into this. So if you're here, a good morning and a huge warm welcome to you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Angela and I am the host of this channel called Time Out with Angela, and we do all sorts of things around healthy living, healthy lifestyle, wellness, weight loss. I do a bit of gardening, a bit of shopping haul, and I love to travel too. So today I am answering the question, if I was starting my weight loss journey today, what would I do? And that is based on having lost 173 pounds so far. By the time I've finished my journey and get to where I think I'm happy, it'll probably be near the 200 pound mark. Yeah, near that. I'll see what I look like and how I feel as I get inched towards that. So if I was starting my weight loss journey today, let me start that again. So having lost 173 pounds to date, knowing what I know, if I was starting my weight loss journey today, what would I do? That was a great question that I was asked, and I'm going to answer it for you today. So there are 5 things that I would do. 5 things. And if you're on your weight loss journey, if you're at the start of your journey, or you're thinking about starting your weight loss journey, maybe you've started your journey and you're struggling a little bit, feel free to make notes or come back and watch this live again, and I will edit this video and just put this section in. I will edit the video and just have this section in and upload it as a video for you. Okay, so if I was starting my weight loss journey again to lose 173 pounds, I would be looking for a program, a system, or a method that could help me develop a sustainable mindset. Help me with a mindset so that I could put in place practices and habits that were going to serve me for life. And I wouldn't be looking for any quick fixes. So that for me would rule out anything that promised me quick weight loss, losing 14 pounds, losing a stone in a month, you know, losing 10 stones in a year. Anything that said, anything that encouraged restriction, or where I had to starve myself, or doing liquid meals, anything like that, quick fixes, I would just forget that. And trust me, guys, I've done that. I have done that. I've been there where I've had those quick fixes. But the first thing I would do is I would make an appointment with my GP and I would seek medical advice. Because if you've got 2 or 3 pounds to lose, that's not an issue. Half a stone to lose, it's not really an issue. But if, like me, you wanted, my initial goal was to lose 10 stone, that's a significant amount of weight, significant, losing 10 stone, without a shadow of a doubt. First call. Even before I looked at what program, what system I would do, I would make an appointment and go and see my GP and get that medical advice. And the reason being, if like me, you live with health challenges, definitely I need that advice. But then you may have underlying health conditions that can affect your journey. And those health conditions can be something like certainly mental health conditions and physical health conditions. And those need a lot of support, qualified support. And just going back to one of the reasons why I left Weight Watchers as a coach is I was seeing people living with mental health conditions, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and also eating disorders. And the program, the system, wasn't helping them. And a couple of clients actually was made worse, and they had to advise they go and speak to their doctor, and their doctor told them, come off Weight Watchers, go, and they got them referred to speak to a therapist who specialised in eating disorders. And then when they were better, they came back and they contacted me and explained what had happened. So yeah, so first port of call, go and speak to your medical practitioner, because not everything that is sold as healthy is actually healthy. And healthy isn't necessarily, you know, about physical health. It could also be mental, psychological and emotional health as well. So definitely do check with your medical practitioner. So guys, feel free to drop in your comments. Yeah. Do you know what? The great thing about doing the YouTube live is that Rabbity Rab, your comments are being withheld. So, you know, when people come on here and they're making rude comments, I love that the live stream is withholding it. I've just seen that it's been withheld, and I've just had a little look. So all I say is, you need some help. You need some help. Go get some help. Okay. So seek that medical advice, guys. Seek a referral to medical advice, such as a dietitian, or, you know, even see if you can get a referral to a weight loss clinic where they can support you with any underlying health conditions and some weight loss tips and advice. My second thing I would do if I was starting my weight loss journey today is that I would set for myself some realistic and achievable goals. And knowing what I know now, I definitely ditch the diet mindset and the diet culture. I think the diet culture is it was really detrimental to me. Really, really detrimental. So I would just take it really nice and easy. And, that diet culture says that we need to lose as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible. And quick weight loss isn't always healthy weight loss. Quick weight loss can have a detrimental effect physically, mentally, and emotionally. And, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, have I got a lot of loose skin after having lost 12 stone? And the answer is, let's be honest, I do have jiggle. I've got some jiggle on my arms here. I've got some jiggle. And I've got a little bit of jiggle on my thighs and a little on my belly. But I haven't got a huge amount of loose skin. You see a lot of people with a huge amount of loose skin. I haven't got that. Now, that could be for a lot of reasons. It could be down to genetics. It could be down to my skincare routine. But it could also be that I've lost my weight really steadily. So I would say, ditch that diet mindset. Don't buy into the fact that you've got to lose weight really fast. And don't be comparing yourself to other people and other people's results, because sometimes that can be detrimental. And also, you don't always know if what people are telling you or how they've lost that weight, if they've lost, a stone a month. They could be restricting. They could be doing it in a really unhealthy way. They could be doing it healthily, but they're just a different makeup, a different frame to you. They could be running marathons, they could be super fit, totally different lifestyle. Your lifestyle could be sedentary. So ditch the diet mindset, and just immerse yourself in building some really healthy habits. And the other thing around that is, I would set the bar low. A lot of people set a high bar. I would set the bar low and build it up really nice and steady. So I would go for a couple of things. So in terms of the scales, I would be looking at least half a pound a week. So diet culture says follow this program and you could lose between 1 and 2 pounds a week. That might be fine for some people. For a lot of people, that's a lot. On my journey, looking back, my average was less than half a pound a week. Less than that. But I've lost 12 stone, 3 pounds, because it's all of those half a pound a week built up, and it just kept me going. So yeah, nice and steady, set that bar low, and just over time, just steadily increase. So half a pound a week as an average for weight loss. Even things like activity, once or twice a week, go out for a walk and just walk for at least 5 minutes and then build it up. And then go for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then increase from once a week to twice a week to 3 times a week, until you get to a point that it fits into your lifestyle and it's working for you. And that way you can keep it going. Whereas if we set the bar really high and say, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour 4 times a week, that's a lot, especially if you're not used to that. So yeah, set that bar low and build it up. And then I would then look at all those other areas of my life, such as, last week we talked about the importance of sleep. I would also look at, my nutrition and build that up nice and steadily And Tony, that's exactly how you lost 10 stone, by losing your weight very slowly. Rome wasn't built in a day. Losing it slowly, it helps you to keep it off longer. Absolutely. And what you're doing when you lose it slowly is you're building habits for life that is sustainable. Whereas I remember I did a liquid diet and I lost a stone in a month, but I couldn't sustain it. I was so hungry, and when I did eat, I couldn't stop, and that weight went back on. So, yeah, look for things that are sustainable. So, the third area that I would start doing if I was to start my weight loss journey again today is I would focus in on my nutrition. And if you've been here before, if you've seen any of my videos, you know nutrition is king. I'm very big on nutrition. So I would focus in on lean meats, the lean protein, the chicken, the fish, the eggs, lentils, tofu at every single meal, every single day for the rest of my life. Not just dinner, not just once or twice a week, but every single meal. And keeping it simple as well. You know, when I thought I had to be in the kitchen and cook every single meal. Not necessarily. If that doesn't fit in with your lifestyle, don't do it. Even just boiling a couple of eggs. Sometimes what I do is I buy a box of 6 eggs, I'll boil them all and then just have them in the fridge. And then if I want a boiled egg for breakfast, I've got it there, I'm munching it for breakfast. If I want to chop it up and have it for lunch, I've got one there. So really nice, quick and easy. So focusing on the lean meats, lean protein at every meal. And hi Chika. Chika says, I needed to hear this. I'm losing weight slowly on Mounjaro, and it is so hard to not compare to yourself to people who've lost 10 stone in 2 weeks. I know. And I don't know if you were here earlier, Chika, but I said that I'm on Mounjaro and I've lost nothing for 3 weeks. Absolutely nothing. But yeah, that is human nature. It's easy to compare ourselves to others. But what we have to remember, it's our journey, our bodies, we're all different. As long as we're doing what we know we should be doing, yeah, and we're being true and honest to ourselves, you know, let them. Just let them. Let other people do what they're doing, yeah, and focus in on ourselves. At the start of my journey, I was very much like you, Chika, and I was looking at people who'd lost 4, 5 stone, 10 stone. I was thinking, oh my goodness, how have they done that? And I couldn't imagine I couldn't see myself doing that. And I was envious of people. Now it's the other way around. People are envying me and saying, how have you lost 12 stone, 3 pounds? Yeah, table has turned. And I've done that by just being focused and just keeping going. So yeah, number 3, I'd focus in on the nutrition, on the lean proteins. I'd opt for whole grain. So I would switch from white rice, white bread, and I would go for whole grain. So whole grain rice, whole grain flour, whole grain bread. And whole grain is good because it retains the husk, and the husk is where all the nutrition is. Okay, that's where the fiber is. And processing gets rid of that husk and turns it into white bread, white flour, white rice. They get rid of the goodness. So stick with whole grain, because that also helps us to feel fuller for longer, and it's really good for our digestive health. I'd also include lots of healthy fats. Now, back in the 90s, early 2000s, there was in the diet culture, there was a movement to get rid of your fats, reduce the fats. That was poor advice. It worked for some people, but generally now scientists, nutritionists are saying that was poor advice. We need fats in our diet, but we need healthy fats and not the saturated fats. We need those healthy fats, the healthy fats we get from avocados, seeds, olive oil. We need those, so include those. You know, even if it's just getting investing in some virgin olive oil or avocado oil and drizzling that over your salads and including it that way. Going to your avocados and eating those, going to those seeds and nuts, your Brazil nuts, your almond nuts, your Brazil, all of those nuts are really, really good for us. So include those in your meals. Good morning, Jazz. Hello, my lovely. Great to have you with us. You're listening in whilst you're working. Thank you so much for being here. The other thing I would do in terms of my nutrition is I would include more fruits and vegetables. So when I do a shop, I would focus in on trying a new fruit or a new vegetable and getting those in and building that up. And now that I'm back in the office more, what I've been doing to avoid that 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock biscuit snack, which wipes me out, is I'm taking my Pink Lady apples, love those, or I'm slicing up, so I slice up my Pink Lady apples into little fingers and I take those, or I bought some peaches the other day, just a small handful of grapes, half a banana. Every day I take one fruit and I have that as my little snack. So including more snacks, more veggies. I love my cucumbers, slicing those up. And the other day for lunch, I had avocado. No, it wasn't avocado. It was Philadelphia. That was it. I had Philadelphia and I cut a few slices of cucumber, so thick chunks of cucumber, and I just spread my avocado. Why am I saying avocado? You could do it with avocado, but I spread my Philadelphia and seasoned it with some chili powder, pepper, salt, all-purpose seasoning, and some herbs. Mixed it all around, and then spread that on my cucumber. So the cucumber was a replacement for crisp bread or bread. And oh my days, it was so good, so good. Again, reducing that calorie, but getting all the nutrients and the macronutrients in with that cucumber. And that you could do that with other veggies, things like celery, although I don't like celery, but you could do it with celery or carrots. Carrots would be a really nice one because you're going to get that crunch and that sweetness. Or even like lettuce leaves, and roll your Philadelphia or your avocado mix and wrap it into your cucumber, wrap it into your lettuce leaf and have it like a wrap, so lots of different things you can do to just try and increase the amount of fruits and vegetables into your day. Again, building healthy habits. You can maybe set as a little goal that you're going to cook a meal from scratch once or twice a week. Instead of saying I'm going to cook every single day or every single meal, which is a lot, maybe just set yourself a little goal that you're going to do that once or twice a week. And Tony, you use cucumber for dipping into your hummus. I love that. I love hummus too. Really, really enjoy that. And then the other thing under nutrition is portion control, using that smaller plate, eating really slowly. And for those of you who's been here before, that I use my hand as a measurement. My meals are no bigger than the palm of my hand. And that was before I started on Mounjaro, let's be honest. Now it's probably like, if not the palm of my hand is probably like even a quarter of that, and I'm done, you know. And that is when it's good quality proteins. If it's ultra processed, I can get a load down. But if it's good quality, that protein, that whole grain, fiber rich foods, I can only eat small amounts. I'd also say under that heading is making sure you get your water in. I did a video recently, I will tag it a little bit later, about staying hydrated. And interestingly, there's two people at work, and they both said to me very recently that they've lost a lot of weight. The one has lost 18 pounds since January, and it's just very simple things. He's not done a weight loss program, done no plan. He's just managing his portions, eating smaller portions, getting in the protein and reducing all the sweets and the snacks and, you know, all the crap is reducing that. But he said drinking lots and lots of water has been absolutely key for him. Now, the other person in the same office also came to me, and they've lost 2 stone in a few months as well. And they've said they've done exactly the same, followed my tips, because I, you know, at work, I give a few tips out to people. They've done exactly the same. And he also said he drinks at least 2 litres of water every single day, every day. And both of them interestingly said that the water for them, they believe the water has been really key for their weight loss. Now, what we do know, the science tells us that drinking water doesn't make you lose weight, not long term anyway. But what it does, it impacts those hormones, and I love to talk about those hormones. It impacts the hormones. It also aids digestion. When we think that we're hungry, we could actually be thirsty, and that's the hormone kicking in. It's just good for flushing out our system, and it helps with our energy levels. It can help us in so many ways. So it's a bypass of weight loss, and we just need lots of water for good health, because our bodies are made up of about 70% water. So we're losing water all the time, every day. When we cough, we sneeze, we blow our nose, we go to the toilet, when we sweat, when we're tossing and turning, we're losing water all the time. So we need to replace that. So yeah, hydration is really important, and to limit the processed foods and the sugars as well. And sugar, it's hard to just completely ditch sugar, especially if we're having organic homegrown food that grows, just food that grows. There's still sugar in it, because you think your fruits and your veggies, but what I mean is like your ultra processed foods. There's sugary sweets, there's sugary snacks, the cakes and the biscuits. I never say get rid of them. I always say just reduce them, just have a little bit less. So just to recap on that, if I was starting my weight loss journey over again, I've lost 173 pounds to date. If I was starting my weight loss journey again, 5 things that I would do and I would put in place is: number 1, seek that medical advice, especially if it's a significant amount of weight, to pick up any underlying issues, and to make sure that any existing health issues are taken into account on that weight loss journey, and not doing something that's going to make your physical or mental health worse. Number 2, I would set realistic and achievable goals, just very simple, everyday, doable things. That's not a massive change. So it's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but just doing just those tiny little pivots. I would do, and look in your existing lifestyle. As I said earlier, nobody can sell you a lifestyle, but what you can do is just look at your existing lifestyle and just make tiny little tweaks. So to give you a classic, when I'm in the office, I will go for a walk just up the high street, a 10-minute walk, or if I'm not able to walk, then we've got a little park next door. I will just do a lap or two around the park, even if it's just 5 minutes. Fits into my lifestyle, because at the moment with my health, I can't get to the gym, but I can do what I can do, and which is go for a 5-minute walk. When I'm at home, if I'm working at home, or I'm on the weekends or in the evenings when I get home, I'm out in the garden, because again, I'm not able to go out for that walk. So I'm moving in my garden, weeding. So again, doing things that fit in with my lifestyle. So set realistic goals. And the third thing I would do is look at my nutrition. Get more of that lean protein in, focusing on whole grain foods, include more fruit and vegetable, manage my portions, look at my water, and make sure I'm hydrated, limit ultra processed foods and sugars, but also to ditch the diet mindset. That diet mindset is so damaging for so many people. And I would be looking at where I can ditch that and just put in healthy, sensible, realistic goals. The fourth area that I'm going to come to is move your body. Just find ways to move your body. When I started my journey, I was so heavy. Honestly, I was so heavy. We've got a local nature reserve by me, and I would drive to the nature reserve. It's literally 5 minutes on my doorstep. But I was so sick and so heavy. I would drive there and then walk. And there's benches all the way around it. And I would get to the first bench and I would oh my goodness, I couldn't do it. And I used to go with my friend, and he'd literally have to just prop me up and hold me so I can get around. I just so struggled to do it, but I persisted. I invested in a good pair of trainers and some good, clothing. And now I'm always in my jogging, my workout clothes, always, apart from when I'm not at work. But just invested in, sports gear and, a good pair of shoes. And I just started doing it more and more. And the day that I could do the whole reserve without sitting down was a massive achievement. It took me probably about 2 years to do that without sitting down. Was a massive achievement, massive. But yeah, it's just building it up nice and slowly. Whereas if I thought on day one, right, I'm going to go to the gym, sign up for a gym membership, I'm going to hit that gym, it just wouldn't happen. Wouldn't happen, and I would be so demotivated. So find ways to move your body, even on days that I'm not well and my legs are not working, just getting up the stairs is movement for me. It's just able to move. So find ways to move your body regularly. Sometimes I do sit and I do chair-based workouts. And just doing those arm raises, those arm punches, lifting my legs, twisting, just simple things in the chair. But just find ways to move your body. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose. Start where you're at. And then the fifth area that I would focus in on if I was starting my weight loss journey again today is I would look at my lifestyle. As I said, nobody can sell you a lifestyle. So be careful of these programs that says, this isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle. No, nobody can sell you a lifestyle. It's something that you have to do. People can encourage you and give you hints and tips for how to improve your lifestyle, but nobody can sell you a lifestyle program. We're all different, so be careful of that. But things I would do to improve my lifestyle to support my weight loss is sleep. Talked about that in the video in the live last week, so feel free to go back and have a look at that. But I would look at my sleep routine, and once I learnt that and I put in place a sleep routine, it started to make a big difference to me on my journey. I'd manage my stress. Again, stress is a massive killer. If you're not losing weight and you're doing everything right, even on Mounjaro, have a look at your sleep, and also if you've got a lot of stress in your life, because stress can actually, it impacts that hormone, the cortisol. I keep talking about weight loss is related very much to our hormones, leptin, ghrelin, insulin, and cortisol, and more. Could be that's why we're not losing weight, because we're stressed and our cortisol levels are raised. Also, in terms of your lifestyle, have you got a support system? Have you got weight loss buddies that can support you on your journey, that you can go to if you've got a question, if you've got problems, if you just want to talk about your weight loss journey, what's working, what's not working? Having a system in place can really, really help. And we're building one here through our membership, and I'm going to do a video after this session, guys. I'm going to upload it in the week about our membership, because our membership is now live. So our membership starts at just $1.99 a month, and then we have a membership for $4.99 a month, so just over £1 a week, where you can jump on a live a Zoom session with me and be part of our community and support each other on their weight loss journey. So look out for that video coming, being uploaded in the next day or so. And finally, if I was starting my weight loss journey again, the one thing I would say to myself is, Angela, be patient, be kind. You're patient and kind with children, with your grandchildren. You're patient and kind to your family and your friends. You're patient and kind to colleagues. You're patient and kind to the neighbours. You're patient and kind to strangers. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Don't stress. Be honest and real with yourself. Put in practice some healthy habits that's sustainable and doable that you can do every single day. Don't watch anybody else. Your journey is your journey. Make good choices every single day. Don't worry about yesterday, that's gone. Don't worry about tomorrow, that hasn't come yet. Be in the present. Don't even worry about what you're going to have for lunch or for dinner. Focus on what's right in front of you. Focus on that step right in front of you, and you're going to get there. I told myself that after 2 years. It was just in lockdown, just after lockdown. So I've been on my journey about 18 months, and I was doing all the things, watching everybody else, worrying why I wasn't losing weight fast enough, trying to starve myself, trying to fit myself into a system that wasn't working for me, trying to track because I thought that's what I had to do to lose weight. I was doing all the things, it wasn't working for me. But as soon as I had my epiphany, and I was just like, work with your body, learn about weight loss, get some good quality support from people who have lost weight, not people who are overweight and telling you what to do and they're not doing it themselves, but people who were seeing results by what they were doing and it was working for them, and you could see the results. And Get rid of the scales. Oh my goodness, this, I've talked about this so many times. The scales was one of my biggest barriers. Get rid of those darn scales and look at other measures. And when I started seeing my weight loss progress, and I looked at, I've been on my journey 6 years, 6 years, 7 months now. When I look, and my average is half a pound a week. That's my average, half a pound a week. And there were some months where I just had half a pound a month. And even on Mounjaro, my average on Mounjaro is just over a pound a week. Just over a pound, which on my entire journey, it is still half a pound a week. Yeah. And I'm like, that's me and my body. I'm not buying into those, programs, or, those influencers that say, do what I do and you can lose, 30 pounds in 30 days. That might work for them. But as a woman, 58 years old, with some serious health challenges, menopausal, on medication, losing 30 pounds in 30 days does not work for me. Losing 10 stones in 10 months doesn't work for me. If that motivates you and helps you, go for it, because we're all different. But yeah, just be patient and be kind. And when I told myself that, the need to keep up with the Joneses and the desire to lose huge amounts of weight in a short period of time was no longer needed. So guys, there we go. If I was starting my weight loss journey all over again, and today was day 1, those are the 5 things that I would do. I would seek medical advice. I would set realistic and achievable goals. I would focus in on my nutrition. I would move my body in ways that worked for me, and I would look at my lifestyle and create a lifestyle that I love, that I enjoy, and that works for me. So guys, there we go. I've been on this live stream for the longest time. I've been on here for 1 hour and 17 minutes. Thank you so much for being with me, guys. If you've missed any of it, please feel free to go back to the top. I mean, what you might want to do is, like Jazz, is put this on, listening whilst you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're going for a walk, and listening. My accent sounds like Madonna when she was pretending to be British. Oh, so I've been told, I regularly get told that I look like Janet Jackson. I'm having that because Janet Jackson is a very beautiful question. Is a very beautiful woman. And now I'm being told I sound like Madonna. I've never heard Madonna when she's sounding to be British, but I can tell you, I am British. I am a Brummie through and through. Teresa, you posted a question. Let me go back, my lovely. Thank you for letting me know, because I completely missed that. So, do I have any tips for inflammation? Your hands and knees are so inflamed and painful, it's getting you down. You've had loads of tests and they say it is temporary. So Teresa, again, I do apologize for missing your question. Thank you so much for reposting it or letting me know. Thank you so much, my darling. So yeah, inflammation. I suffer with inflammation all over my body, every single joint. I get inflammation due to my condition. My hands have been really badly inflamed. So first of all, speak to your medical practitioner. It sounds like you've done that, okay? And work with them to find out what is causing the inflammation, the root cause of it, okay? Root cause of the inflammation. It could be a number of things. I'm not a medical practitioner. I don't know the medical science behind that. What I know for me is that stress causes inflammation. because I suffer with lupus, the sunshine can trigger inflammation in my body. The cold weather and the damp, terrible for me. I also have Raynaud's disease in my hands. That can cause inflammation. So there's a number of things that can cause inflammation. Okay, so it's finding out what is your triggers, and then find out how best they can treat it. Okay. I've recently had a steroid injection, and that's cleared up the inflammation in my shoulder because it was localized, and it's had a little impact elsewhere. I am due for another injection in 3 months' time in my hip because I've got a lot of inflammation there in my hip. So there's lots of interventions, and other than that, I was told painkillers. So I'm on naproxen. It helps me, and sometimes it's so bad I'm on tramadol. So again, talk to your medical practitioner. Keep on at them. If they're sending you away and saying it's temporary, go back and saying it's still a problem for you, and work with them to delve into why it is a problem, why it keeps reoccurring, and ask for a referral. Yeah, it may be to a rheumatologist to see what's going on. Insist on those tests. Your body insists on that. Other than that, things that have helped me is food. Do a little bit of research on foods that can trigger inflammation. I know for me, and me alone, and I can't give any advice because I'm not medically trained, but for me, things like nightshades trigger it. So tomatoes, certain types of tomatoes, because of the acid in that can trigger inflammation. And I know, again, for me, keeping a diary helps as well. So certain things can trigger it. So if I drink wine, oh my days, I don't even touch the stuff these days, but wine is horrendous for me. If I drink wine, my knees are going to blow up like a balloon. They look swollen and they're really painful. So wine, tomatoes, even some things like dark chocolate can trigger inflammation with some people. But yeah, different things for different people, and of course ultra processed food because the chemicals in them. So have a little look at what you're eating and drinking. Do a little bit of research on the internet, see if any of those ring a bell for you, and then definitely go to your GP and seek that advice. Okay, seek that advice. Yeah, so yeah, you're spot on. They keep giving you painkillers and you're stressed. Yeah, go back and talk to them, my darling, but also keep that diary. Are the painkillers working? Yeah, are they working? So the painkillers will take the pain off the inflammation. What you need is something to reduce the inflammation. So again, look at your food and see if you can get any other treatment to support you with that. I hope that answers your question. Guys, I've been here an hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap up, and what I'm going to say is I've just read some incredible books lately on Audible. Listen to them, and 2 books I'm going to highly recommend for you. Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you want to learn about how to put habits in place for life, life goals, not necessarily just for weight loss, but absolutely helpful for that, listen to his book. You can read it, or I just go on Audible and I buy my books and I'm listening to them whilst I'm cooking, cleaning, in the garden, visiting the kids, going shopping, whatever. I'm listening to those. Atomic Habits, absolutely fantastic. And the other book, oh my days, it's called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. absolutely cracking. I will say that this book comes, I've got to give you a little trigger warning. He shares his life journey, and there is, you know, he shares his child abuse experiences at the top. So just be careful of that. Protect yourself when you're reading that. But later on, he goes into, oh my days. You gotta listen to it, guys. I mean, I've listened to it and I've just talked non-stop about it to my colleagues at work, you know, about changing your life, going for promotion, you know, things you want to achieve. Incredible, 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 incredible. So Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins and Atomic Habits by James Clear. There are other couple of fantastic books that I've read lately, but that's for another day. Guys, what I'm going to do, when this finishes, feel free to go back up to the top and listen. I was telling you about the membership and different things that we're doing. I shared my weight loss update as well. Feel free to go back and listen to it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to download this and I'm going to edit it just the last half an hour or so, where I'm talking about the bulk of this live stream, which is, you know, what I would do if I was starting my journey again, and I'm going to upload that as a video in the week. So all the woolly stuff's going to go. But if you are at this point, a huge thank you to you. Thank you so much for being here. So Jay says, thank you for sharing. I don't know the second book. Have a look, guys. Have a look. Go on Audible. Have a look. You can get, I think it's 5 minutes. You can listen to the intro. Oh my days. Oh my days, you're going to be blown away by it. So yeah, so do check those out. So guys, thank you. If you're here, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you on another live very soon. Have a wonderful day. Take care, guys. Bye.